Hello everyone, welcome to Grace Hollow Rabbitry and welcome to Northwest Arkansas. I'm PJ and I run an ARBA rabbitry. I raise commercial meat breed rabbits. I raise New Zealand's, black, blue, and broken, and I raise silver fox in black, blue, and I plan to start a broken program with them this year. Alrighty folks, it is January 2019 and I've already gone through and introduced you to my silver fox herd starting out the year, and so I thought I'd go through and do a overall review of the New Zealand herd. Just the breeding team right now, the brood team, my bucks and my does that I use for breeding. I have too many to go through and show you the show team and the youngsters also. So for this video, it's just going to be the New Zealand bucks and does on the brood team. And hopefully I can have enough time for all the does and the bucks. We're going to start out right here up front. We have Blue Cheese. And Blue Cheese is a doe that I purchased. Now her parents, her dad is a buck I used to have. His name is Banks, and I sold him. And her mom is a doe I had bought a couple years back ago. Actually, no, I didn't buy her. She was a Christmas present. Blue Sky was a birthday present a couple years back, and I got a couple litters out of her, and went ahead and moved her along. She was on the small side, so I went ahead and moved her along. And the person that bought Banks also bought Blue Sky, which, as you all know, Courtney from A-Town Rabbitry has those rabbits. Or at one time she had them anyway. I think she has since then sold Banks, and he has moved on to yet another rabbitry. So anyway, that is the parents to Blue Cheese. And then I purchased Blue Cheese from A-Town Rabbitry. She has, I just watched one of Courtney's videos just this morning actually, and so I learned a little more history on her. Apparently she has raised only one litter. She kindled 8, and only 3 of those survived. I guess she has a milk production problem. Now, since I've had her, I have bred her 3 times, and the first 2 times she has skipped. Now, she does not like to lift for the bucks, so the 3 times that I have bred her has been assisted breedings, where I put my hand underneath and do the lifting for her. And the buck mounts, he has a fall off. I really don't have a huge success with that practice, and so I don't like using it. But since this girl won't lift, then I've tried it 3 times now. The first 2 times she's skipped, so she is now on her 3rd breeding. Hopefully I can get a litter out of her. Blue Cheese is a lovely doe. She is a registered grand champion. She finished out the day that I bought her. I registered, and then I went ahead and showed her, and she picked up, oh, I know 1 more leg, but I think she might have picked up 2 more. I can't remember for sure, but anyway, I know she got the 1 senior leg that she needed in order to grand champion, and she did that. So she is a registered grand champion, and now we're just gonna have to play with this girl and see what we can do about getting her bred. Now, when the new rabbitry is finished, I hope I'm going to alternate bucks and does. I don't really like doing that because when you have bucks between does, they get possessive of their does, and they like to spray them, and then the does are always sticky and yucky and not very pretty. So I like for my does to be away from my bucks, but I am, especially this girl, having difficulty getting her bred, as well as a couple of my older does, which is to be expected since they're old. But anyway, let's move along to the next rabbit. Here's a blue doe. This is Blue Eye. She has two junior show legs, and now I haven't shown her. Well, I think I showed her one time since I've had her. I showed her when I took her and got her registered, and so oh no, I tried to register her back last year, and she didn't pass. I think she was just a few ounces shy of senior weight at that time. So I just registered her last weekend. But anyway, the first time that I took her last year, I did show her. She didn't earn a senior leg because I was the only one that had blues, and I only had her and Cass. So that's how that worked out. But Blue Eye is registered now. She's I think 10 pounds 6 ounces, or 10 pounds 4 ounces, something like that. So she does meet requirements, and she does have two junior show legs. A really nice doe, and so far she's been a pretty good mom for me. I think she's raised 3 litters for me. The first litter, of course, I had bred her back to her dad, and so we had a lot of stills out of that litter, so I didn't keep any of them. So I've raised, or she has raised 2 more litters since then, bred to a different blue buck, and so she's raised 2 blue litters, and she does real good at her mothering. Oh, and Blue Eye came from Washoe. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I'll spell it down below. Washoe Lake Rabbitry out of Nevada. And so she's traveled a long way to join us here at Grace Hollow Rabbitry. And I plan on keeping her around for a little bit longer. I hope she's hopefully bred now, and so I want to get another breeding or 2. However, one of these 2 does, either Blue Eye or Pocahontas, is going to be replaced here pretty soon because Diamond has earned all of her Grand Championship legs, and she's at weight to be bred now. However, I'm going to give her a little more time. I'm going to keep her on the show team for a little bit longer until she does reach senior weight, because before I breed her, I want to get her registered and send off for her Grand Champion. So when Diamond comes up, one of these does is going to be moved along. And then next, here we are. I only have a few solids, believe it or not. I have 12 does on the breeding team right now, and 9 of those are broken. Yeah, I only have 3 blue does on the brood team, and here is this one's Cass. Cass is one of mine. She is out of my black buck Dave, who is a Duluth carrier, and Nellie, who was a broken blue doe. So that's who she's out of. So she's got a little history here at Grace Hollow. Her parents were both here, and she is one that I raised up, or Mom raised up, until weaning age, and then I raised up from that point on. A real nice doe, but when I was showing her, she was the only blue doe being shown, so she has not earned any legs. But if you look at that rear end, oh man, she's such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful doe. And so I'm pretty proud of this girl. And then my final solid doe, this is Pocahontas. Now Pocahontas, she's a little long and lanky as far as body type. I do think Blue Eye probably has the better body type. However, what Pocahontas has is size. She's got a beautiful blue color, and she's I mean, I have to put this girl on a diet to get her bred. She easily tops out at about 12.5 pounds, which explains the long, lanky body. It's just because she's got so much mass to her. She just can't be one of those little compact, pretty little rabbits because she's got so much size. and she's an older doe. I think she's about 2 years old, so I mean she's not old, but she is not a spring chicken either. So Pocahontas I keep around because she's a real good mom, and she produces beautiful babies, absolutely gorgeous babies, and she puts size back into the herd. She will flat dab smack the big right on those kids, so she's worth her weight in gold right now, as far as I'm concerned. Throwing those big kits with beautiful body types. She's just a all-around good brood doe. Oh, and Pocahontas came out of Texas from Hunt's Rabbitry, and so she is one that I purchased, and I think she will be around for a little while longer. As long as she keeps producing those beautiful big kits, we're going to keep using her. Alright, then that brings us, that's the conclusion of the solids. Now I do have 3 black does growing out who will join the team, which means 3 of these broken does are going to have to make room for the 3 blacks. But right now they're still on the show team, so we are not going to show them today. So with the solids concluded, we're going to move right along with the remaining broken does, and we have quite a few of them. First up, right here, she's one of the YouTube favorites. This is Waterloo, and Waterloo is out of Alex and Possum Grape. Alex was, I think, I'm afraid I'm going to tell you wrong. I want to say he was a son of Cass's. Maybe not, though. I'm afraid to say that because I might be wrong. He was the sister, or he was the brother to Houston, and I got 1 litter out of Alex, and I had 1 litter out of Houston, and I lost both of them. Houston had complications in pregnancy on her 2nd litter, and then Alex, I'm not real sure what happened to him. Either he caught his foot and panicked and had a heart attack, or he had something that attacked his cage and he had a heart attack. Either way, whatever happened to him, he was frightened, and he had a heart attack and died instantly. So that was a sad. Anyway, Alex is the sire to this one, Waterloo, and Possum Grape. Possum Grape was a registered grand champion, and Alex wasn't a grand champion, but he was registered. So this girl's got a dual registration on her. And she should be bred, hopefully expecting her first litter here in a couple of weeks. And then we have this young lady. This is Holly, and she just joined the brood team. I picked her up from Texas. She is not one of my own. She came from Hunt's Rabbitry. And I really think this girl is a beautiful young doe. I just love her hindquarters. I love the angle of her shoulders. I just really like this doe. Now, I've shown her a few times, and she just didn't show well. I'm not quite sure why, but she just didn't show well. So that's okay, though. Now, the downside to Holly, she is still young, but she is senior. She's been a senior for a month or 2 now. She's only 9 pounds. I think I weighed her in at like 9 pounds, 4 ounces or something. So she is on the small side. So I bred her to Jake, and hopefully we can get some bigger kits out of her. Now, we won't know until we see her litter, but I think there's a possibility this girl could be a Charlie because of her marking. She is faintly marked. Now, I would say borderlining that 10% of color. Now, the one thing that has me hesitant to say, oh, she's for sure Charlie, which you really don't know that until you breed, so we'll find out. Charlies tend to have the enlarged intestinal tract, the colon, and so Charlies tend to have large poops, and this girl does not. So that makes me question whether she's Charlie or not. And again, we won't know that until we have a litter and find out how it goes. Alright, so we are halfway through our does, and we still have 6 more remaining, and they're all 6 broken. And this young lady right here is Frank's. She is one of my own, and she is out of Kirby and Keogh. A real nice doe. She has a leg on her. She got a best opposite sex breed down in Texas. Now Keogh will not be staying. Actually, she's already been sold. However, she has been bred, and she has just enough time to have a litter, and hopefully she will raise that litter. I think she was bred, I know I bred her to a big buck, and I don't know if I bred her to Jake or Tex. I can't remember, but anyway, I'll write it down below. Hopefully this girl will have a litter, and hopefully she'll raise them, and after she weans her litter, she will go ahead in the end of March move on to her new home. So Frank's will be here only for a little while. Like I said, I have too many broken does. I have 9 broken does on the brood team, and I need to replace some of those with some blacks. And so some of these ladies are going to have to move on out and make room. And so Keogh, or not Keogh, Frank's is one of the ones that will be leaving. That brings us to Dodie, and I just love Dodie. Dodie's got that beautiful blue coloring, which is real nice. And she also has a big size. She's about 11 and a half pound doe. And so, you know, I really like that. Now, I have seen some of her kits, and so I know she raises nice blue kits. I know she does. Unfortunately, this girl is almost 4 years old, and when I purchased her, she came out of Hunt's Rabbitry, out of Texas. When I purchased her, I knew she was an older doe. She was over 3 years old, 3.5 years, and so I have bred her. I believe I bred her 4 times now, and so far I have not gotten a litter out of her. I've bred her again, and so we're going to give her another try, and hopefully I can get a litter out of her. But right now I am, like I said, overstocked on broken does. I've got several on the show team that are pushing senior status, and so I'm going to show them February and March, and then those girls are going to have to move on up to the brood team, and that means we have some of these older does that's going to have to move along. And that brings us to Washita. Washita is a registered grand champion. She is a Duluth carrier, and her parents are Kirby and Everlong. So she's been here, and she is one of my favorites. And she currently has a litter on her. This is her 3rd litter. First litter she had 11, she weaned 10. Her 2nd litter she had 10, and she weaned 9. And then this litter she had 9, and right now she has 8. And these guys are right at 3 weeks old, and they're really big enough to come out of the nest box now. However, we have got some days coming that's going to be in the single digits, and so I'm going to go ahead and leave the nest box in here just through that cold snap until we get back up to some decent weather. That way maybe they'll stay just a little warmer, insulate one another, and make it through these cold days. So anyway, she's got 3 broken and 5 black. So I hope to get a real nice black doe out of this litter. Then we have the queen, and oh, by the way, Washita. Oh no. I was gonna say she's been rebred, but no, she hasn't. She's got a litter on her. This is the queen. She also has a litter. They're the same age, right about 3 weeks old. One of these litters was born December 30th, and the other one was born December 31st. So these were the last 2 litters of the year, and so far I have not had a surviving litter for 2019 yet. So we're still waiting for our first litter for this year. But the queen is out of my old black buck, Dave. He came out of Oklahoma, Dave did. And her mom was Biggers, and Biggers was the litter mate to Everlong. So she's got some pretty good history. Let's see, Washita was a great-granddaughter of Inks. Oh no, granddaughter, because of Everlong. Granddaughter of Inks. This is the daughter of Biggers, so she's a granddaughter of Inks. And right now she has a litter of 5 on her. She's got 3 broken and 2 black, if I remember correctly. I think so. She had 8. Yes, she had 8. We had 2 that crawled to the front of the nest box on a cold night and got chilled. And then we had 1 that somehow or another fell out of the box during the night. And of course it chilled. So the queen is still fairly young. She's going to be sticking around. She's going to keep producing babies as long as she keeps producing babies. And hopefully, though, real soon we'll get a replacement doe out of her. Alright, and that brings us to Shawnee. And Shawnee is a full sister to Everlong and the doe I was just talking about, Biggers. All 3 of those girls, Biggers, Everlong, and Shawnee, are out of Ink and Bloomer. So they are daughters of Ink. Now, Shawnee is about a year younger than Everlong, and Everlong is sitting right next to her, and you can tell these girls are sisters. They both registered grand champions. Like I said, they're both sired by Ink, and their dam was Bloomer. Real nice does, both registered grand champions, both real good moms. Shawnee almost always kindles 4 kits. She kindles 4 kits, she raises 4 kits, she weans 4 kits. It's just what Shawnee does for some reason. And it doesn't seem to matter who I breed her to, that's just what she does. So anyway, these 2 girls are, again, 2 of my favorites. Shawnee, Everlong, and of course Everlong's daughter, Washita, are my 3 favorite broken black does. They're great moms. They produce fabulous kits, and you know, they're some good-sized does on top of that. So anyway, that's Shawnee. Okay, and then here's my last doe, Everlong. And let me give you a story. I know you've heard a lot of this story before, but just in case you're new to the channel, I'm going to go ahead and tell her story again. And then I'm going to add a little more information that I don't remember offhand whether I have mentioned before or not. My very first litter out of Ink and Bloomer, I had 1 buck and 3 does. Now, I capped the buck. The buck was Bigelow. You may remember him. He was my main broken herd sire following Ink for a long time, about 2 years, I guess. And he had developed, he had a fly bot, which I treated several times, and it kept coming back, and it finally formed into what's called, I believe if I'm pronouncing it right, warble, and we kept treating that and kept lancing it, and it finally, the infection was too much, and he succumbed, and of course he's no longer with us. So we do miss Bigelow. He was probably my all-time favorite buck outside of Ink. Now, Ink was a Charlie, and so he could not be registered or shown, but Bigelow was a registered grand champion. Then there was 3 does in that litter, and I sold 1 doe to a meat breeder. She was interested in some brokens, and so I sold 1 of the does to her. And then I kept a doe, and which was Biggers. Oh, couldn't say that today. I kept Biggers as my own, and I was showing her. And then I had promised a friend of mine a doe, and so she ended up with Everlong. So she had Everlong for, probably a year, and she's shown her. Biggers and Everlong showed against each other, and they kind of went back and forth of who won, and eventually they both became registered grand champions. Now Everlong does have a best in show lag on her, a best in show. She is my only rabbit to this day and time that has won best in show. Unfortunately, she was not under my care at the time. She was shown and conditioned by another breeder who no longer breeds rabbits, but when she decided to get out of raising rabbits, she offered Everlong back to me, and I said yes. So I purchased Everlong back, and so she's been with me for a couple years now. And see, Everlong is almost 4 years old, and some of my very best show stock has come out of her. Now I'm going to get off of Everlong just for a little bit, kind of. Her son, Jake, is with me. He was a real nice buck. I liked him when he was young, but he did not carry dilute, and at the time I was getting out of blacks, and since he didn't carry dilute or could produce blue kits, I went ahead and sold him. And of course, as you all know, he went to A-Town Rabbitry, and then here recently she no longer needed him, and so I was given the opportunity to bring him back home. And so now he is going to be my main herd sire for producing solid blacks. So we do have Jake back, and that is one of her sons. It would be a half brother to Washita. So we'll talk more about Jake when we get to Jake. But that's all the time I have for today, and so there you have it. There's the 2019 brood does starting the year out. If you've liked this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you'll be notified of the next video release. Down below, I'm going to leave a couple of links for you. One will be to my webpage, which will have photos of the brood team. It will also have show results and my show schedule for 2019. Be sure to check that out. I'm also going to leave a link to my fan page where you can see what rabbits I have available and little day-to-day comments and photographs that happen on the rabbitry every day. Be sure to collect your rainbows and don't forget to share them with me right there on the fan page. Thanks for watching, and until we speak again, God bless.